I never thought grief could make me hate someone I used to love, but that's exactly what happened. When my sister danced at my daughter's funeral, her name is Rachel, mine's Claire. We used to be inseparable, the kind of sisters who borrowed each other's clothes, had inside jokes no one else got, and swore we'd grow old side by side. But grief changes people. It rewires you, and sometimes it shows you who someone really is. When my daughter Emily died, my world ended. 6 years old, a car accident, wrong place, wrong time. One second I was fastening her seatbelt, humming some silly song she loved. The next I was standing on the highway, screaming her name through flashing lights and sirens, hoping someone, anyone, would tell me it was a mistake. There are no words for that kind of pain. People say it feels like your heart breaks. No, it collapses. The days after were a blur. The funeral, the endless casseroles from neighbors, the way everyone looked at me with that pity smile like they were afraid I'd shatter if they said the wrong thing. But what I do remember, crystal clear, was Rachel at the reception after the service. She showed up in a bright red dress, not burgundy, not dark maroon, red, and she was laughing. She had a wine glass in her hand, spinning around with one of her friends, music playing softly in the background. I sat in the corner, clutching Emily's stuffed rabbit, trying not to fall apart, and then I heard Rachel's voice, loud, confident, cutting through the room like a blade. Claire needs to move on. Emily's in a better place. The words hit me harder than the accident ever could. Everyone went quiet. Some nodded awkwardly. Others just stared. But nobody stopped her. Because that was Rachel, radiant, unstoppable, the golden sister. I used to admire that about her, but in that moment I hated it. The next morning she came by my house, smiling, like nothing happened. "Hey sis," she said, cheerful as ever. "I hope you're not mad about last night. I was just trying to lighten the mood. People were so down, lighten the mood, at my daughter's funeral." Something inside me cracked, not loud, just this quiet snap deep inside my chest. I didn't scream, didn't cry. I just looked at her and said, "You should leave, Rachel." She laughed nervously. "Oh, come on, Claire, don't be dramatic. I was just... leave." Her face changed. For the first time, she realized I wasn't playing. She left. And that was the last time she saw the old version of me, the one who forgave easily, who believed family meant unconditional love. Because from that moment on, I decided something. If she could dance through my grief, I'd make her understand what true loss feels like. Revenge doesn't come from rage, it comes from silence. From the nights you lie awake replaying the same words in your head until you stop crying and start planning. Rachel had always been the golden child. Pretty, loud, magnetic. She could charm anyone, bosses, strangers, even cops during speeding tickets. She built her whole image on it. A social media influencer, PTA president, charity organizer, always giving back, always smiling for the camera. So when she announced she was organizing a charity gala, in Emily's memory, people called her an angel. But I knew better. It wasn't for Emily, it was for Rachel. I told her I wanted to help, to support her beautiful cause. She smiled wide. "Oh my God, Claire, that means so much. Helping others will help you heal. Sure, Rachel, whatever helps you sleep at night." From that moment, I played my part perfectly. Quiet, supportive, cooperative. But every meeting, every phone call, every fake thank you from her, I recorded it all. Every line that showed who she really was. Greater than, "We need more photographers. This event has to trend." Grief is so relatable online right now. People love a redemption story. Every word made my stomach turn, and every word became evidence. Then I made a call to Ethan, an old friend of mine, a journalist. Rachel had once promised him a paid collab and never followed through. He still held a grudge. When I showed him the files, the messages, the receipts proving she'd used charity money for her own dresses and PR team, he just smiled. Greater than, "Oh, this is going to be good," he said. And that's when the clock started ticking. The night of the gala arrived. The hall looked like something out of a movie. Chandeliers, champagne, gold-trimmed invitations. Rachel was glowing. Perfect hair, perfect smile, perfect mask. "This event," she began into the mic, "is about love, healing, and celebrating the beauty of life." Her voice echoed through the hall. I almost laughed. Halfway through her speech, Ethan published the story. Live. Front page. Headline. Greater than local influencer exploits grief for fame, the truth behind the charity queen. Within minutes, phones started buzzing. People were scrolling, whispering. I could see their faces change, admiration turning to disgust. Rachel froze mid-sentence. The projector behind her, meant to display a slideshow of Emily's photos, glitched, and suddenly Ethan's article appeared on screen. Her own screenshots, her texts, her brand deal plans, her comment, "This will get me on morning TV." The silence was deafening. Rachel's hand shook. "This isn't, I can explain." But nobody wanted to hear it. Her sponsors pulled out within hours. By morning, every company she worked with had dropped her. Her perfect, polished image was gone. And I didn't just ruin her career. I erased it. Step 3. The emotional hit. A week later, she showed up at my door. No makeup, red eyes, hands trembling. "Claire," she whispered. "Please, everyone hates me. They're saying things that aren't true." I stood there, calm. For once, I was a strong one. "Greater than, you don't understand what it's like," she said. "To lose everyone." I looked her straight in the eye. "You're right," I said quietly. "I don't. I only lost one person, Emily." She started crying, but I didn't, because I'd already cried all my tears, and as she walked away, broken, humiliated, desperate, I realized something. Revenge doesn't bring joy, it brings silence, and sometimes that silence feels worse than the pain that started it. 2 months later, I went to Emily's grave. It was one of those still mornings. Fog hanging low, grass damp, the air heavy with rain about to fall. I knelt by her headstone, tracing her name with my fingertips. "Hey, baby," I whispered. "Mom's here." I sat there for a while, lost in thought, until I heard soft footsteps behind me. Rachel. She was holding a bouquet of white lilies. Without a word, she sat beside me. We stayed like that for a while. No tears, no anger, just two broken people staring at the same small piece of marble. Then she whispered, barely audible, "I didn't know how to handle it, Claire. Your pain." It scared me. I didn't respond, because what could I say? She placed the flowers down and said softly, "I hope one day you'll forgive me." And for the first time, I didn't feel rage. I just felt tired. Because maybe she was right. Maybe grief didn't just break me. It broke both of us. They say revenge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. But in my case, it wasn't poison. It was medicine. Bitter, but necessary. I didn't destroy Rachel. I just held up a mirror and made her look. But when it was all said and done, I didn't feel victorious. I felt empty. The letter. A week later, I found an envelope in my mailbox. No name, just her handwriting. Inside was a photo, Emily at her 6th birthday, cheeks puffed as she blew out candles, and below it a note. Greater than, "You were right. I made your pain about me. I wanted to be seen when I should have been seeing you. I didn't deserve your forgiveness, but I hope someday you'll find peace." Rachel, I read it 3 times. Then I whispered into the quiet kitchen, "Greater than, I forgive you. Not for you. For me, because forgiveness isn't about them. It's about closing a wound that refuses to heal." 6 months later, I saw her again at the grocery store. She looked different, smaller somehow, not in size, but in spirit. She hesitated, then said softly, "You look good." I smiled faintly. "You too." There was an awkward pause, the kind that holds 100 unspoken apologies. Then she said, "I didn't know how to be there for you." I nodded. Greater than, you can't fix someone's grief by ignoring it. She looked down. "I know that now." And that was it. No hug, no big scene, just truth. Sometimes closure doesn't come from words. It comes from understanding. The final goodbye. Every year, on Emily's birthday, I buy a yellow balloon. I write her name, drive to the lake, and let it go. Last year, I noticed another balloon floating beside mine. Pink. I looked around and there was Rachel, standing by her car, watching quietly. She didn't wave, she didn't speak, but she didn't have to. We just stood there, eyes on the sky, watching those balloons drift higher and higher. Two sisters, broken, changed, but still bound by the same loss. And as I watched them disappear into the clouds, I realized something. Maybe the best revenge isn't payback. Maybe it's peace. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you love, you know forgiveness isn't weakness. It's letting go of the poison before it kills you. My revenge didn't destroy my sister. It made her face herself. And maybe that's enough. If this story made you feel something, hit subscribe. Because here, we tell stories about loss, love, and the kind of quiet revenge that changes people forever. And this was the story of how one sister learned. Sometimes karma doesn't shout. It whispers,